how do you do it? Is it a matter of, listen, this is how much the strategic foresight and market analysis is going to cost you as an SMME?
Yeah.
Therefore, instead of you paying us this X amount of money, we're going to convert that to equity,
Yeah.
and we're going to partner with you to do this.
Yes. No. It would work like that. I think it's also different depending on the nature of their business. But I think you have summarized it pretty much close, where you're looking at the model and the projection of that business. And you can see that this business has the potential to obviously be listed in the stock exchange, to then attract the right investors. But also, if right now they're trying to grow it as an SMME, the shares, if we could call it that, could go on quite reasonably. So that's what you would buy into that equity, to say, we'll buy into that equity. We will also provide the service, but perhaps instead of paying the entire 100% service fee, let's take that 5%. Let's take that 6%. Even international companies, they've said to us, look, if you guys can manage to, this is the target. If you reach it, let's negotiate. We're putting 4% on the table. Then we go back and forth and we settle. And, in recent months, 6% was put on the table for the business. So it's really just structuring something that would work within the legal framework and also within the right spec. And also, obviously, if you can afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can afford it. And sometimes it's just, you can have equity, but, because where the project is, it's almost like, help me grow it so that when I start making that profit or revenue, whatever, you then have that percentage from it.
Let's talk about positioning. It could be either market positioning, but I want to start on positioning on the personal side of things.
Yeah.
Right? You've went up the ranks from being that intern that was starting, that was learning, to being somebody who is in the room with dignitaries, presidents, CEOs, right? So meaning at every stage of your career, you needed to position yourself a certain way to certain people, right? Which is a skill.
Yeah.
How does somebody who's young watching this begin to put themselves in your shoes and say, how do I also position myself so I can grow and have these networks?
Yeah. That's a brilliant question, and I think for me, I took myself seriously, maybe too serious sometimes. But you have to present a solidified brand, your own personal brand. You have to solidify and back up your own skill set, from a performance perspective. I gained a nickname of being called the Deliver. Desiree, the Deliver. Why? Because every time I was sent a task, I would make sure I deliver on it, and it can put a lot of pressure on you. But I think the key thing is you need to, for young people especially, who are getting into the industry, who trying to make a name for themselves, you really need to view, like, how do I want my brand to be viewed? I didn't go out saying I want to be called the Deliver, but it was because I had this. I'm obsessed with
You didn't call yourself great.
No, yes. No, you don't. You don't. You don't do that.
Yeah.
The people around you will say, he's great. She's great. So, and in my case, I didn't go out there, but I knew I went out there with this mindset that whenever I was given a task, I'm delivering on that. I'm delivering it, maybe passion.
Is it a personal standard?
It's a personal standard. And it comes from that perfectionism that I was talking about earlier on, that I had to learn that, perfectionists, having that spirit of being a perfectionist is good, but there's pros and cons. It can be both a blessing, it can be both a curse, especially where I remember I was assigned about 5 years ago, if 6 or 5 years ago, I had a personal coach, a professional coach, basically. And it's like, okay, fine, you've hit that level. You're at executive level. What is next for you? And at the time, I thought, well, whatever role comes along, and I'll take that on. But she said, you need to go back and rethink, because you are a perfectionist, but how about you start working from a place of excellence? And really, that shifted my perspective on things, that being a perfectionist is great. It is a driving force. It does even make you become a bit of an overachiever. But if you work from a point of excellence, you deliver excellence, you work well with other people, you're approachable, you build your brand, you become your own word. Like what you say, your actions must meet that. People, no matter what happens, people can never fault you on that. And people will then give you those type of nicknames, Desiree the Deliver, or the Great, or whatever else that can come to mind, because they know you're reliable. But also it has to come from a place of passion and having drive. I think many people who end up being entrepreneurs were very ambitious, I think. I was very ambitious growing up. The world was mine. I had a target. I remember I was 18 and we were writing matric exams and so forth. And a question was posed to me, like, what do you really want to do? At that time, I was very creative. I thought I'd go into graphic design, because I have a very creative mind. I like solving complex issues, but I wanted to go into the artsy, creative graphic design side. And I was told, no, you need to really, really rethink it from the perspective of your strength, because you're very strategic. And excuse me, at 18, I actually hadn't grasped what strategic means.
You didn't even know what the word meant.
Exactly. And that allowed me to go out and familiarize myself. What is that? When they say I'm strategic, But it came from basically in my high school and primary school, I was head girl, prefect.
Yeah, you do give off head girl vibes. Of course. She does, isn't it? Leader. Leadership personified.
Thank you so much. So that in itself, I was just thrust in those leadership roles. And I was a bit of a rebel as well. I think my headmaster called me up and said, I'm so tired of you. Everywhere I turn around, you're in detention, you're getting into trouble. In the next elections for the head girl, you're excluded. And I'm like, why? And like, because you're going to be the head girl. And that's how I got thrust into just being responsible. But not only that, I'm the eldest at home. So I've got that firstborn
vibes.
Yes, firstborn vibes. So I always had that thing that I need to lead the four that are coming behind me in life. But yeah, and I think you grow with having that sense of responsibility. So really coming back to SMMEs and people wanting to build their brands and building their network, you become the brand you want to portray in that service that you give, regardless of what level. If you're at a call center and you hate the hours, give that service, guys. There are people who complain, I hate this 9 to 5, and someone is fasting for a 9 to 5. The irony of it. I hate being stuck in traffic and someone's fridge is empty and they would love to be stuck in that traffic.